Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Robert Ziggy Ziegler up at Harvard University for a reaction to some of Week 12 from around the NFL. We're going to talk, of course, about our Lambeau trip, which was just awesome. We'll hit that off the top then.
Was it?
Well, I mean, you're right. It was a great trip with a really, really bad, 3-hour window. Even, if you even want to condense it more, a really bad, hour and a half. I mean, it wasn't a pretty hour and a half that preceded the really ugly hour and a half. But yeah, the 3-hour gap, that was just as dreadful, I would say uninspiring, numbing, any adjective you want to throw out there that's just despair. That's what the Viking-Packer game was. The rest of the trip, though, great time in Green Bay, great time in Milwaukee, had some fun in Chicago with our friends afterwards. An awesome quote-unquote vacation, so to say, even though we were working. But my gosh, just a horrendous. We'll get to the Viking-Packer game off the top. But yeah, we'll also be doing Lions and Giants was awesome. The Bears-Steelers game. All the other NFC North games. We were joking in the car ride back to Chicago. We picked the one NFC North game that was miserable. And if you had told us earlier in the day, okay, 2 of these NFC North games will be great, one will be a blowout, I probably would have guessed Giants-Lions. But that's just so it goes as Vikings fans. If you're enjoying this content, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I believe we're at, Ziggy, almost 27.4?
We're closing in there.
Yeah, we're kind of getting close to 30 here. Again, to get to 30K, that would hit our first goal of the season. I think we had 30K as our base goal, 40K as our main goal, and then 50K would be the unbelievable year, which is feeling more and more unlikely. But you never know. You just never know. How are you doing, though, Ziggy? We just got back from traveling all day. Thanks for hopping on.
Well, Paul, it was nice to be able to watch some other football games because any game that we could have watched, you could pick literally any game of the slate, was better to watch, not only as a Minnesota Vikings fan, but just as a football fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any other game would have been great. we had the worst game of all time, it felt like. Let's talk about the trip first, though. You have a good trip?
Green Bay is always a nice place to go. The people there are very welcoming. And it's amazing to be able to go and just be showered by gifts by people trying to convert me to Packers fan. And you always have to enjoy that. And honestly, after this week, might be working a little bit.
Yeah. So off the beginning of the trip, you guys listen, you might find this funny here. Off the beginning of the trip, Ziggy and I land in Chicago. And immediately we go to the rental car. Jack's meeting us in Milwaukee later at night. We were going to pick him up from the airport. We're spending the night in Milwaukee. So Ziggy and I drive up to Milwaukee. We're staying Hilton Garden. And I plug it into the GPS and we're on our way. We're off to Wisconsin. And we have a great trip up. Ziggy and I were actually kind of in a good rhythm with the music. The vibes were awesome. And all of a sudden now we're in downtown Milwaukee. And
we're thinking it's kind of strange.
A little strange because we know that the airport or the hotel we're staying at is right across the street from the one we stayed at during the draft. And this is that was not in downtown Milwaukee. That was right next to the airport. But, Hilton Garden at the airport. I don't know. Maybe it's just different. So we park. We wind up walking in. And the hotel's awesome. The Hilton in downtown Milwaukee, this is really freaking cool. Are we staying here?
Once you get past Santa's bar.
Yeah, once you get past, I will say when you first walked in, it looked like a retirement party was going on downstairs, at one of the, senior living facilities. After you walk past that, though, it's wow, spectacular hotel. And we go up to the front desk, and the guys he greets us, and he's like, "Hey, guys, how's it going?" I'm like, "Farrington, reservation." And he goes, "Can I see your ID?" I hand it over. And he goes, "By the way, love your guys' show." We're this is crazy. The first person we see in Wisconsin is saying he's a fan of the show, which is just really cool to us, too. And he's going, "Paul, I don't see your reservation. Could you pull up your confirmation code?" I pull up my phone. I'm like, "Yeah, they got it right here. Hilton Garden at the airport." He goes, "Airport's 15 minutes away from here, guys, at the airport." We're like, "You got to be kidding me." So the guy goes, "It was great meeting you anyway." And I said to him, "Yeah, you got to realize that I'm actually an idiot in real life." So we wound up staying right next to the airport, which was just awesome. And that was Friday night where we picked up Jack. And then Saturday, Ziggy, I thought that Hagmeister Park was just so much fun.
Yeah, there were so many people that came out to see us, and all of you are just amazing. Obviously, Matthew asked me to give him a shout out, so shout outs there. And it looks like, Paul, there might be a new addition to the desk after that.
I guess I should mention that. This will not be a permanent addition. I don't think, unless if there's like some bribe. I don't know what's going to happen. I really can't have it sitting. Yeah, I guess that's the elephant in the room, isn't it? At the meet and greet, which was unbelievable. We had, I don't know, what do you think, Ziggy? Between like 50 and 100 people show up over the course of the day. Like a lot of people showed up. It was great meeting everybody, and so many people drove long distances. People were giving us presents and like telling us how much the show meant to them. It really is cool because you just we do this behind the microphones, and like I'm at my house, Ziggy's at his house. It's just this is how we do it most of the time, and then to get out and actually meet everyone, and you start hearing how much the show means to people, and it really is like pretty touching to us. Seriously, when we're there, and it's really bizarre too because. We've been doing this for years and years and years. And you just, Ziggy and I were used to talking to a microphone at Notre Dame when there were 15 people listening. And we just enjoyed
20, we're like, wow, that's a good day in the office.
And we just enjoyed doing it. And it's really special to us. And we really thank everyone for coming out. Even if you couldn't make it, like no big deal at all, obviously. Hopefully we get to meet everyone soon. And just anyone in general who's listening. It truly does mean a ton to us. But James and Laurie were a couple that came up and they gifted us this Packer football. And it kind of reminded me of my good buddy, Michael Manning, big Patriots fan, Mike Manning, who had me for Secret Santa last year with our Notre Dame friends and got me like a Notre Dame necklace a Green Bay necklace and Packers slippers. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? But like looking at this is a really nice football commemorating the Packers Super Bowl over the Steelers.
Jack's Pittsburgh Steelers at that.
Which led to a great moment where we get the football and Jack is cracking up because he knows, like I said before I opened it, I'll put this on the desk. I promise, no matter what it is, for at least one episode. Probably should think things through a little bit more moving forward. But I open it up. It's a really neat thing for a Packer fan to have. But Jack sees it and he just starts cracking up, turns to the crowd and goes, "Go Pack, go!" And like, wow, that could be clipped. I just realized that's not good. But I'm like, Jack,
don't clip that.
I'm like, Jack, have you looked at this football? And you can see right down there, it's legitimately commemorating the Packers Super Bowl win over the Steelers, which is just, that was super nice. And then we also had Donley. Donley was one of the guys who showed up, and he gave us Vikings hand warmers, are like a little hand warmer socket that was just unbelievably clutch at the game. And his friend made us a hat. I was just so kind of Donley to bring that stuff. And it was just awesome. We had just a great day for like 4 hours at Hagmeister Park. And thank you to Corey at Hagmeister and Joel, who were unbelievably kind hosts. And it was just an unbelievable day, Ziggy.
And then there was the next thing, which was unbelievable in its own right.
Yeah, and
it's
then
just, look, it's not everything can go well when you're a Minnesota Vikings fan. We should have known we were leaving this meet and greet. Like, this was unbelievable. We can't believe how much support everyone showed us. This is amazing. And then Paul looked at me and said, I think the Minnesota Vikings can win this. I'm feeling good after.
Yeah, I really did. I really believed. And I will. And I lost the bet. I will make the logo green. We just got home. I can't do it now. But it's just...
Oh, I try and tell you this.
I know.
Every single time you think things are, and I fell into it too. Right? This isn't something you can avoid as a Vikings fan. But every time things are going good, whether it's with the team, whether it's in our life, the one thing that stays the same is the Minnesota Vikings will then find a way to let you down. And we saw. I don't know. Like, we're Notre Dame fans, right? The day before, it's the Saturday. Everything's going great. We're watching the Syracuse game. We're going, Syracuse.
Yeah, we're winning 70-7.
Yeah, we're going, those guys are terrible. It's like they didn't even show up to play football. No disrespect to Syracuse. We know they're on the fourth stringers. We know they're trying their best, but there's not even a game here. We thought Syracuse's offense, I've never seen an offense that bad, and I don't think an offense could possibly be that bad. And then you see the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers, where you have more interceptions than yards in the second half.
Yeah, obviously, if you break it down, losing 70-7 is just a horrible loss. But
yet their offense was still better than ours.
We're walking. Yeah, they scored more points than us. We're walking in to the hotel last night in Chicago. Oh, and by the way, thanks a ton to Andy too, Andy Herman, for showing up. Andy fit that, squeezed it into his day.
By the way, Andy did say we're taller than he thought.
Oh,
so in case you think the Paul Farrington show is short, Andy Herman himself.
Yeah, it was super kind. And we'll be back on tomorrow morning with Andy in Behind Enemy Lines. But great shout out to Andy. He was super kind to show up. And I mean, he's done a lot for this show. So thank you, Andy. But yeah, I'm walking to the hotel yesterday and I just go, you know what's insane, guys, is like maybe you could make the argument that the Syracuse was better. The Syracuse offense was better than the Vikings was on Sunday. I kind of said it tongue in cheek, but really, I mean, when you actually break it down, guys, we said this in the instant reaction that we did right outside of Lambeau Field, which will be our coolest backdrop maybe ever on this show. The Vikings' second half drives, it was just like, come on, man. 3 plays, 2 yards, punt. 3 plays, negative 12 yards, punt. 3 plays, negative 17 yards, punt. That's when I walked back from the bathroom and I see like Micah on. Was that the Micah sack? I want to see Wyatt. That was Wyatt, and it's just like I walk out and I see Wyatt on top of JJ McCarthy, and the crowd's going crazy. It's 4th and 27. The next drive, you're thinking it can't get worse. 1 play interception, and that's the one where. We didn't get a great angle of it because it was on the other side of the field. We were sitting section 130, row 8. We were like right there. It was just, and Lambeau was awesome. It's a great environment.
It's an unbelievable stadium. We went through the Hall of Fame. Really cool.
Yeah, we went through there.
All the Super Bowl trophies. It's probably the closest we'll ever get to.
Yeah, that sucked. And like, I guess JJ got hit and like slingshot the ball, which is, of course, Viking luck. Like he loses it and just catapults it straight into McDuffie's hands. Like that's just ridiculous. And the next drive is 5 plays interception. Like that's our second half, 26 yards. And we have negative 1 yards in the second half combined right there. It was watching an elementary school team play against, I guess, just professionals. I guess that's what it was.
An elementary school offense, let's be clear. The defense, while they weren't great this game and you would have liked to see more from them, they effectively did their jobs.
The Viking defense seriously gave up 16 points because I'm not counting the muffed punt. Everything changed on the Miles Price muffed punt, which made it an insurmountable 17-6 lead at the time, and that would have been a huge stop actually to start the third quarter. But you're just watching this Vikings offense, and you gotta give the Packers their props. Like they were great. They were dominating our offensive line. Micah, we had someone behind us chanting, "Thank you, Jerry," the whole game, making fun of the Vikings. And I have no problem with it. Like, that's what I would be doing if I were a Packer fan. But when you're getting your ass whooped.
Micah won every way you could possibly win. There were times he was faster on the outside. I can't remember which guard it was, but there was a play he just walked directly through our guard to get JJ McCarthy. He was incredible. There was a really excellent run stop that he had. Micah Parsons did it all this game, and he would be Defensive Player of the Year if Myles Garrett weren't having the greatest edge rusher season known to man.
Yeah, Myles Garrett is just doing superhuman things right now. But it was a total ass whooping by the Packers defensively on our offense. And you're watching JJ out there, and I know that I said, and I'm standing by this. I seriously am, for better or worse at this point. I'm standing by the take of I'm finishing the year before I freak out or not. But like I'm coming pretty damn close when we're watching this second half in particular, and just everyone's pissed off. Like Jefferson, we took a picture of Justin Jefferson standing on the sideline, hands on his hips, and everyone has the same feeling of like, what the hell is going on? And the stat came out that JJ, I actually think it's worse than the initial stat that I saw. He's 580. Is it 500, right? Or 800? No, 853 out of 854 quarterbacks who have played since 2000. He has the worst EPA per dropback other than Jamarcus Russell. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, how is our guy, I'm seeing Caleb do his thing. Drake May's an MVP candidate. Jane Daniels is hurt, but goes to the NFC Championship game last year. Bo Nix is 9-10 or I don't even know what they are at this point. And how is our guy the guy who is legitimately the second worst quarterback in a quarter century?
There are only 4 individual performances that have been worse than this for the Minnesota Vikings since 2000. Christian Ponder versus the Lions, week 14. Matt Castle against the Bengals. I can't remember what year that was. Brad Johnson versus the Bears, 2006, and Spurgeon win against the Ravens in 2001.
Yeah, and
that's it. We're comparing JJ McCarthy's numbers here to Spurgeon win.
Oh, look, I like JJ a lot. I think I was talking with my dad, and like JJ, no matter what he does, maybe other than football, I'm really not giving up on him yet. I know people will say you're crazy, but I'm going to give the guy a chance here. And yes, it's going horribly wrong. JJ will be successful in anything else. He's just got a great dude, great mindset, great work ethic. If it doesn't work out in football, I have no doubt JJ McCarthy will be great. I'm not giving up on him still. But it's just and I'm not gonna rag on him like crazy. I'm venting a little bit because it's frustrating that it's this bad.
Do you think you could go work for Blair Walsh's real estate company?
Stop. You keep thinking it can't get worse, and then then it just keeps getting worse. But for anyone who comes out and just says it's over, I still think it's an overreaction. Like you gotta give them some time to work out the kinks. It looks disgusting. It looks disgusting. But finish the year. He'll probably start next year, and then if it sucks, you blow it up. But I really do think that you need to have patience. It's just it's nerve-wracking, and it does not bode well for the Vikings that he is quite literally the second worst quarterback right now of the quarter century. I'm just trying to find reason to win out over freaking out for me. And I guess I'm still doing a decent job. I don't know. I kind of had a meltdown there, but the Packers did what they had to do against a bad team. And it was the first time
all happened all season.
Yeah. And that's the encouraging thing right now is Green Bay looks the part on defense, certainly. And offensively, Jordan didn't make any big mistakes. And then they moved the ball, decently well. But they didn't have to do anything superhuman. Take care of business. And now this massive game against Detroit looms on Thanksgiving. So we can talk about the Lions here. 34-27 win over the Giants. We're watching the score ticker run in Lambeau Field. And you're seeing the Giants are have a 10-point lead in this one in the fourth quarter, I believe, right? 27-17 early in the fourth quarter. Jameis goes on a touchdown drive. And it's like, oh my God, is Detroit really gonna, first off, Packer fans are starting to be a little happier in the stands. Like, hey, we beat this Giants team. It looks pretty good on the road. But if if the Lions lose that, even the Vikings fans are getting a little excited because, no one's rooting for Detroit in there. And Jahmyr Gibbs basically said, you know what, guys, I got this. And completely took over the game. Ziggy, I'll let you take first crack at it because allegedly Jahmyr Gibbs is your boy. So go ahead.
Well, so I will say this. As everybody on this show knows, I've been hyping up Jahmyr Gibbs since at least July.
Okay.
And this is the game where he showed it. There is, I ran my numbers on EPA efficiency per run. Since 2018, there has not been a more efficient performance, which is as far back as my numbers go. Jahmyr Gibbs had the best day per touch of any running back in the NFL in the past 7 years.
That's unbelievable.
It's just unreal.
So he finished with 15 carries. Yeah, I just want to say the stats. He was 15 carries. Okay, 15 carries for 219 and 2 touchdowns, adding in 11 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he's simply unbelievable.
No, he averaged in the NFL. He averaged 15 yards a carry. This is what Jeremiah Love did to Syracuse effectively, and Jahmyr Gibbs is doing against the Giants. And I know the Giants just had their defensive coordinator fired. I know this defense has been bad. But Jahmyr Gibbs, in a game where the Lions needed every single one of those yards, put the team on his back. The Lions defense gave up another really efficient performance to Jameis Winston. Who knows? Maybe Jameis is actually not that bad. Clearly, he's a very effective receiver, as we saw earlier in the game.
If you haven't seen it,
got some of that. Sorry, go.
Oh no, I'm just saying if you haven't seen the Jameis Winston receiving touchdown yet, it was spectacular. How far did it go again? It was a 33-yard touchdown catch where put a juke on the linebacker that was covering him.
Stiff arm
on Barnes. I think it was Derek Barnes. Stiff arm move. It's just an awesome play. Jameis is so fun. Even the first touchdown they had, what was it? Oh my gosh, what's the name of it? They pitched it back to him and he chucked it, 50, 60 yards in the air. he was really fun. He's a really fun player to watch. And I will say, Ziggy, what did you think of the Giants' decision? It was 27-24 with, like 4 minutes left in the game, or 3 minutes left in the game. I can't remember the exact time. And they have 4th and goal from the Detroit 6. And they went for the kill shot. I know you're an aggressive-minded guy when it comes to these play calls, but it's 27-24. You're up by 3. Do you like hey, let's try and end this thing right here? Or let's kick it. Like, I personally would have kicked the field goal and made Detroit score a touchdown.
Well, Detroit scored a touchdown on 3 of their last 4 possessions. So,
I know.
2 of their last 4, and they kicked the field goal.
And maybe the Giants have nothing to lose. Maybe the Giants have nothing to lose.
When I don't think it's whether you have nothing to lose or not. It's Detroit's offense by success rate has been better. They've been much more consistent. The Giants actually, their offense was not very productive on a play-by-play basis. Their success rate this game was actually 26%. They would just generated huge plays over and over again. I do not like relying on my offense to have to do that if the game keeps going, if it goes into overtime. And in fact, you saw when the game went into overtime, Jameis's luck ran out. He just wasn't able to get the Giants, keep them in that game. So I'll say this, you can go both ways on this. I think the Giants were right to go for it. I liked that on all these trick plays, they're giving Dan Campbell a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah.
It was just fun to watch somebody do that to the Lions. And I think if you have an offense that has no run game, has generated plays basically with just huge Jameis Winston passes downfield, I think you got to just try and end the game and get home with a huge victory.
Yeah, my thought is, what I'd imagine the Giants are thinking is, we're 2-9 right now. We're at Detroit. One, secretly, maybe we really don't care if we lose. I don't know if Kafka's thinking that because he's coaching for the job.
Thinking if I go on a win streak, I keep my job.
Probably to some degree, but I really don't think they have much to lose. But yes, let's say Kafka, because it would be reasonable for Kafka to approach it like his job's online, because he kind of, in some sense, it is. But let's pretend that's off the table, because I bet some people will think that that's the reason why. Even if that's off the table, I'm thinking you gotta make it a touchdown game, because Detroit, Bates is a great kicker. He's got a good leg. You don't have to go far clearly in the NFL now to tie these things. And I don't know what you were talking about, Ziggy, but the second half drives from what I'm seeing is 6 plays, punt, interception for Detroit, the Gibbs 50-yard touchdown run, then a 3-and-out before that game-tying field goal drive.
Well, that Gibbs touchdown is important. Their last 4 drives were touchdown, punt, field goal, touchdown. The Lions offense was ready to explode that game.
The Lions drives in the second half, I'm seeing, were punt, interception.
No, I'm talking what their last 4 drives in the game were.
Yeah, but I'm talking. Yeah, no, I get it, but I'm talking about leading into that decision.
Yeah, but you have to be aware that the Lions offense has been pretty good today. It's probably going to continue to be pretty good.
But it hadn't been. It had been punt, interception, touchdown, punt.
Yeah, but you're only looking at the results of the drives. The Lions offense up until that point had been efficient. Most of their plays were going well. They had a couple of bad plays not go their way.
But what I mean is, if you're forcing them to get a touchdown, yes, they were having good drives, but they were stalling out, and they did throw interceptions. To put it in the end zone, you need to finish the drive, which they hadn't been doing other than a big Gibbs run. That's why, at least for me,
I'm not counting on Jared Goff throwing another red zone interception.
It doesn't have to be a pick. It could just be, Giants having a big sack. The defensive line played well. I guess we just disagree on this. To me, especially in today's NFL, make it a touchdown game. If you're trying to win it, I get that people are uncomfortable up 6. That to me, I like it better. And in overtime, Gibbs has 1 carry, 69-yard touchdown, and the Giants move down the field well, but ultimately have a turnover on downs on a 4th and 5 sack by Eden Hutchinson, and they move to 7-4, massive win. But here they go now, hosting the Packers on Thanksgiving, and it's a star-studded game with 2 teams coming off, big wins against bad teams. I can't wait for it. We'll talk about it more with Andy on Wednesday. Both of those teams.
Whoever wins that game, they may not be number 1 in the NFC North, because there's a 4th NFC North team that we haven't talked about yet that is 8-3 now, coming off a huge win.
Yeah, both of those teams. And again, if you're enjoying the content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how you're feeling about your team, and throw us a subscription if you can, as we're chasing 30K. But NFC North is led by the Chicago Bears right now. I 8-3. The Bears are 8-3. I don't think any Lions, I don't think any Packers, clearly no Vikings fans can believe this. But they just keep finding ways time and time again. For people who don't think they're good, I know you don't think they're good, Ziggy. You're 8-3. I mean, it says something about you. At the very least, you're resilient. And at the very least, the Bears, even Bears fans we talked to were saying, guys, like, we're not naive here. We realize that we're having a lot of fortune. The ball's bouncing our way a lot at the end of these games. I don't think we're winning the Super Bowl. I talked with the guy on the plane for literally 2 straight hours. And Ray, it was actually really fun talking with Ray on the plane. But he's like, I don't think we're winning the Super Bowl. None of us do. But at the very least, they have an opportunity now against the Eagles on Black Friday, Green Bay twice. Like, all these games, the 49ers, the Lions, they mean something. And that does mean something at the end of the day for a Chicago team that's just not been relevant. And in this one, Caleb is 19 for 35, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns. And at one point, the Steelers were up 28. I'm sorry, what were they up in this one? Because was it just 21-14? Because we're watching the score.
Didn't have a huge lead.
Okay, but we're watching the score in the stadium, and it's like 21-14 Pittsburgh, late second quarter. Thinking like, okay, the Steelers might be able to finally be the ones to slow down Chicago here. And Caleb, I mean, just time and time again, I thought he was resilient, especially bouncing back from the fumble in the end zone, the strip sack from TJ Watt. Like, at what point, Ziggy, is there ever going to be a point where you actually buy Chicago?
Well, of course, there could be a point.
Yeah.
And I do want to give the Bears credit. Having back-to-back drives end and fumble, like, those are the sorts of things when we talk about the Bears being different. Last year, it's a close game. The Bears have 2 pretty bad fumbles. That would have completely ended the team. They would have given up on the game. They would not have been in it. They wouldn't have been able to handle the fact that Kenneth Gainwell was just slicing them up on the ground, and particularly that huge touchdown run. The thing I worry about with the Bears, and unfortunately they haven't done much to change that, is they keep winning really close games against really bad teams. I mean, they have a negative point differential at 8-3. And you can say they are 8-3, and there is some truth to that, but there's also some truth to the fact that they've had to beat the Commanders by 1, the Raiders by 1, the Minnesota Vikings by 2, the Steelers by 3. Beating the Giants by 4, maybe not so bad after all. But that Bengals game, like, the Bears have just had a lot of very fortunate wins. And unfortunately now, when you look at the rest of their schedule, they've got Philly, Green Bay twice, the Browns at home, the 49ers, and the Lions. Unfortunately, Chicago is going to be a dog in every one of those games but 1. So when you're looking at making the playoffs in 10 wins, there's a reason that Vegas is only giving them about a 50% chance to make the playoffs at 8-3. It's because there's still a lot of things to be worried about for the Bears. But if they win 2 games, if they can go 3-3, they're guaranteed to probably win the division. If they can win 2 of those games, they're almost certainly in. If they only win 1 of those, they're out. And Vegas is saying 50% chance they only win 1.
I think you had a great point, Ziggy, too, about the resiliency bouncing back from the back-to-back fumbles, because that's one thing we said coming into this one is the Bears hadn't turned the ball over much. They had the best turnover differential in all of football. And you kind of get, Jack and I are watching the highlights last night when we get back to the hotel, and at least 3 times Jack went, how the hell did we lose this? Like, you're watching the Bears make a bunch of mistakes, and the Steelers, to the Bears' credit here, Bears got the football back a lot, whether it was turnovers on downs, whether it was recovering fumbles. Like, they also made the Steelers make mistakes, and that's what they've been doing all season. Nashawn Wright had another interception. He picked off McCarthy the week before. That was earlier in the game. But
he stepped up so much. The secondary hurt
completely.
Like, they needed this so bad,
and their linebackers are all hurt right now. Chicago's playing with a lot of disadvantages too, and that's like another thing we have to shout out for them is it's not picture perfect, but they're finding these ways with an injured team, with some bad bounces during games. They're making enough plays to get the ball back. And Caleb, when it's been crunch time, when they have the opportunity to put the games away, generally speaking, they're finding the way to do it.
This is what you were promised with Ben Johnson. And I was a little bit worried early in the season because it seemed like he was so hard on this team anytime a mistake was made in practice. right? You could see in his preseason press conferences, all of that. I was worried that would carry over into the games. But he's done a really excellent job keeping this team level-headed and ready to play no matter what happens in game. And it's totally fine to be hard in practice if you can have your team ready to play.
Yeah, and you look at the receivers, DJ Moore, 64 yards, Adunze, 53, Loveland, 49, Burden, 46, spreading the ball around. They got a lot of playmakers. Monungai gets in the end zone again. He's been a really nice compliment to DeAndre Swift. The offense looks great. It's just going to, to me, the defense has to get a little healthier. But I think Chicago, I'm not calling them a Super Bowl team or anything like that, but they're right now. Do you think right now, if you had to pick, do you think they'll win the North?
I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Okay. Well, I think they're going to get into the playoffs. I think right now I'd still pick them to lose the North because I think the Packers and Lions will take care of them. But I mean, it's right. They're right there, and they're not a joke anymore. A year ago today, was it today, the Thanksgiving game? It might actually be. A year ago, they were being laughed off the screen in front of the entire nation when they had the clock run out on them in Detroit. And to have the turnaround, they're not dominating, yes, but to be 8-3 at this point, when you seriously were the laughing stock of the NFL for much of last year, it's pretty unbelievable. And I'm really excited to see what they do on Black Friday. If they go into Philly and beat the Eagles, especially after the way this Philly defense had looked against the other two North teams, I know Philly just had that ridiculous 21-point blown lead against Dallas.
Yeah, but that was a 21-point blown lead because their offense completely collapsed. The Bears have to be able to make that happen again.
Yeah, this is a vulnerable Eagles team. Even though they're 8-3, or also 8-3, the Bears have an opportunity right now. And if you win in Philly, I don't care how it looks. You're legitimized to me at 9-3.
They have a huge opportunity this week, and I don't want to make it sound like I think the Bears absolutely can't. I don't think they'll make the playoffs because I haven't been confident in what they've seen. But you asked, what can I see from this team that could make me change my mind? And they've got a couple games against good teams that are winnable. This Eagles game, I know going to Lincoln Financial Field sounds really tough, but the Eagles have looked vulnerable week after week, and the Dallas Cowboys defense finally exploited it. They get to host the Packers. They get to go to the 49ers. Just win a couple of those games.
Real quickly here, we could just hit a couple games, and then it's getting late, and we've been traveling all day, so we're gonna wrap it up. We'll have a lot more coming out this week. And again, thanks everyone for tuning in to kind of a randomly, Tuesday shows we haven't been doing a ton of. But very quickly, the Chiefs beat the Colts 23-20 in overtime. Saved their season, really. I mean, it's at 5-6. It starts getting real murky now. 6-5. The path to the wild card is very much more in play here. But the Colts, man, we saw our good buddy Tommy Cash, this big Colts fan, at dinner last night. They recover a fumble early fourth quarter, up 20-9, and you have your opportunity to slay the giant. I mean, it is right in front of you. And the next 4 Colts possessions, including their first one in overtime, 3 plays -2, 3 plays 7, 3 plays 1 yard, 3 plays 7 yards, all punts. The Chiefs score a touchdown on the Chiefs' 4 drives to end the game, 11-play touchdown, 3-play punt, 15-play field goal where they actually, Colts had a huge stop at the goal line to save the game and force it to overtime. And then when Mahomes gets the ball in overtime, 12 plays, 81 yards, field goal to walk it off. Like, the opportunity was right there for the Colts. I know everyone thinks I'm a huge Chiefs guy. I don't care. I actually like the Colts. I was rooting for the Colts, and it's just a huge wasted opportunity, especially in the 1 seed race. I'm sick to my stomach for Colts fans.
I mean, I'll say I think you're lucky to be in any game where your opponent doubles your total yards.
You are, but at the same time, the score was 20-9 you have the ball in the fourth quarter.
They got a couple nice turnovers, but the Chiefs are going up and down the field all day at will.
Sure, but it doesn't change the fact that you have a chance to bury them.
Oh, there's no doubt they did. I just think I walk away from this game thinking the Chiefs were clearly the superior team, and it's unfortunate the Colts weren't able to get it done, because if you win this game, the odds start looking good that you won't have to face Kansas City in the playoffs.
Well, you might not, maybe at all, right? Maybe not even like in a wild card game or something, like at all.
Make it.
I totally agree with what you're saying as well. I think the Chiefs are better than Indianapolis. I just mean the way the game played out. Like the whole league, right? The entire AFC, if you're a fan of an AFC team, when you see that Chiefs comeback, whether or not you think they're good, I don't care. I don't care if you're going to say publicly you think the Chiefs are bad. No one wants to face them in the playoffs. That's true. No AFC team, you're lying if you say otherwise, wants to face the Chiefs in the playoffs. And just a golden opportunity missed.
Yeah, I mean, look, I will say this about the Chiefs. They have got to get a run game. You simply can't have Patrick Mahomes throwing 46 passes, dropping back 59 times, taking 4 sacks.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's going to take. I was reading a funny thing from another AFC GM who said the Chiefs should tank so they can get a running back. That's how bad it is. They've got to figure it out because Kareem Hunt is not cutting it.
I don't know what they're going to do at this point. The Eagles-Cowboys, we said crazy comeback for Dallas. Can't wait. We'll talk more about those teams later this week because we'll see them on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And then the Bucs-Rams. I mean, real quick here, Baker gets hurt. Got a shoulder problem. Doesn't look like it'll be long-term. Not sure the short-term significance yet. But the Rams
did not affect the outcome of this game at all.
Yeah, I mean, 34-7. The Rams 9-2 now. Stafford almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. The defense is great. Stafford's been unbelievable. Devontae Adams has 2 more touchdowns on a great year. What a huge addition he's been. I'll just ask you point blank, a team to beat in the NFC by far?
But you can't put anyone else up there remotely credible.
Yeah, it's in a year where everyone's been so inconsistent.
The Rams have beaten the Seahawks and the Bucs, the 2 teams that we thought were very, very good. They lost to the Eagles. That was unfortunate, but they're clearly on top.
They lost the Eagles on a game where they had a field goal blocked with an opportunity to win it, where they dominated the second half
game.
Yeah, and they got Detroit and at Seattle coming up in a few weeks here. More, I don't want to call them tests, but because I think they've passed most tests at this point.
You can't tell me though that you aren't looking forward to Jared Goff again. Like these Rams Lions games are always classics, and this one there could be a 1 seed on the line.
Oh, I mean, I can't wait for these games. It's awesome that the NFC, I don't want to call them juggernauts or powerhouses, but the NFC contenders are mostly playing each other down the stretch here. It's going to be a ton of fun. We'll wrap it up there. Ziggy, thanks for hopping on. I know it's crazy days when we're traveling like this, and I know you were bouncing around. Did you make it to the conference?
I did not.
Oh, sorry about that.
My flight landed a little later than they thought.
Gotcha.
Then one bus got canceled. Then a bus got delayed. Then the train got delayed.
Well, all right, let's hop off here. We'll get some sleep. This is coming out Tuesday morning. We'll be back with Andy tomorrow morning, Wednesday, and then we will have a quick reaction on Thanksgiving. I personally like to try and keep the holidays. So
but, I mean, it's a
massive game. I mean, we're gonna be watching it. We're gonna react to it. I can't wait to talk with you then, Ziggy. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it again, everybody, for coming out to Lambeau. If I forgot any shout outs, I'm sorry. I'll remember them for the next episode. But I think we may have covered the bases. But and we saw Alan. It was very nice to come up to us at the end of the game in Lambeau and say hello after seeing us at the meet and greet as well. That was nice that he came over to our section, said hello. So we'll wrap it up there, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.